We got the hardwire kit for the drive-i and the drive-i system itself, which is the 4K 360 view. This points to the left, points to the right. This one points to the back. And if I recall, this comes with the rear camera as well, so we're going to mount that as well. Here's what's going to come with the packages: the unit itself, the hardwire kit, the rear camera. We're not going to be using this USB since we're not going to be hooking up to the cigarette lighter, so we're going to go ahead and get started. For this step, you do have to drop down the airbag and this little cover right here. They kind of overlap, so the airbag has to come off first, and then this is held by 2 screws on both sides, and then there's going to be one down here in the corner right here, and that's the only time you can get this thing out, because you'd want to tap into the cigarette lighter, which is going to be a constant power, which is, you can see, constant, and here's ground. Now for the accessory, you're going to need to tap into this number 5 fuse right here, fuse number 48 right below the 20. That's going to be the accessory. So we got the ground, which is brown, and the 12-volt constant power would be red and yellow. And I always just kind of add a zip tie just to make sure it doesn't come loose. So I'm going to tape this up, and then we're going to go ahead and tap it into the number 5 fuse, or number 48 5 amp fuse up there, and show you what that looks like. For the accessory, you will need a type of fuse and also another 5 amp fuse or lower. You never want to put anything higher than what it's trying to protect, or it will not pop. So if you have, say like you put a number 7.5 and this 5 needs to pop, then that one won't pop. So you want to put at least even or lower. And this is the circuit for the dash cam, and this is the original circuit it's trying to protect in the fuse box. This one's pretty self-explanatory. So I pretty much got the wire behind this bar right here and behind the bundle of wires, and I'm just running it kind of riding behind the A pillar, as you can see from here. So we're gonna go ahead and run it along to the center, because that's where the camera is gonna be, and then we're gonna go ahead and run the rear dash cam itself, the wire for that. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like once I get everything ran. So far I kind of just ran the wire kind of along this inside channel. As you can see, I stopped in here because I need to plan where to mount the rear camera, but I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the front and get that one done. That way I can kind of maneuver the camera and adjust it while I'm seeing it to the front. But other than that, like I said, just kind of run the wire all the way to the back and then continue on to the front. So what I did was I popped the cover for the rain sensor and the rear view camera, and I have the wire kind of going in to that cover, so you're not going to see any wires whatsoever once this is pretty much mounted back. So it's going to look as close to factory as it can. I also went ahead and kind of just trimmed this piece right here, that way the wire has somewhere to go to, since once this go back, this kind of sits flat to the glass, so you want a little notch. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the camera and then go ahead and mount that, and then move on to the rear camera. Here's a quick preview of the camera pretty much mounted. So go ahead and clean the spot where it's gonna get mounted with a little bit of alcohol wipe. That way it's gonna stick real good. No dust in there, which you don't want dust anywhere really in there. So I'll let that thing dry, mount that thing up, and then move on to the rear camera. So here is the end result. As you can see, the wiring is looped. That way it'll go into that hole. So everything is pretty much kind of like OEM look. So as you can see, no gaps. And it was going to that little hole that I mentioned to put a notch. And I'll show you what the back one looks like. As far as the rear, all I did was a surface mount in the very middle. Use the center buckle for the kid seat as your guide, and pretty much just stick it in the way it is, just like how I have it, and you're pretty much done. OEM look, This is the only wires that you're gonna see. So when you're obviously driving, you don't really see much except for these 2 wires. Everything is running to the stock covers, headliner, no wire showing.